Ask the French guy here.
This is WWE superstar Drew McIntyre. You're listening to the WWE Podcast.
Monday Night Raw, I just watched. How is it possible?
The one that everybody wants.
But Raw is doing better than SmackDown, in my opinion. Even if SmackDown has a lot more of star power, I mean, you have Randy Orton there, Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns. In Raw, you have CM Punk, of course.
Hey everybody, welcome to the WWE
McIntyre,
Podcast. It's
Seth
time
Rollins.
for the mailbag
So,
and
yeah, maybe,
the
but
preview
I
and prediction
think,
show for Bad Blood.
SmackDown has
Dual
more
show here
star
as
power,
Bad
but
Blood
Raw
comes
is
to us
the better
tomorrow
show
from
right
Atlanta,
now.
Georgia,
I just
and my
watched Raw.
gosh,
I
the rumor
love
mill
what they're
is
doing
circulating.
with Xavier
And
Woods.
it's been
And
really
with
propagated
Karrion
because
Kross
of
at the
Cody
same
Rhodes,
time.
who
If you
said
noticed,
that there could be something happening
you can
tomorrow
see
night.
during
That one of the
Xavier
big guys
Woods
could be coming
and
back.
Kofi Kingston segment,
And
they are
there's
discussing the
really nobody else that fits that
intercontinental
description
opportunity for Xavier
in his
Woods.
storyline anyway, other than
And on the
The
back,
Rock.
you
Now,
can
it could
see
be Brock
someone
Lesnar,
watching,
blah, 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 but it makes no
them
sense for him to talk
discuss,
about Brock.
this is
I
Karrion
think that
Kross
he let the cat out of the bag a
again,
little bit in The
turning
Rock potentially
Xavier
making a
Woods,
massive return
turning The Miz.
tomorrow
That's
night
great.
in Atlanta.
I want
We'll
Karrion
see.
Kross
We'll see if that's
to
the
have
case.
a proper
I think that
storyline.
there is
I
a
want
strong
Xavier Woods to
possibility,
turn
stronger
heel
than I
as well.
thought, which
The Miz
I've
is
been
not relevant,
steadfast
to
that
be
The Rock
honest,
isn't coming
but
back for another
Karrion
month at the
Kross,
earliest, maybe
I'm
Survivor
waiting
Series
on this.
leading into the Rumble.
You have so much going
And
on
it
Raw
could be
right
as
now.
early as tomorrow
Drew McIntyre against
to
CM
lead
Punk.
to a
That's-
Cody Rhodes
I think
Rock
that's the A show right
matchup
now.
on
That proves
potentially
that
the very
title,
first
you just need like
episode
good storylines,
of
not complicated ones.
SmackDown in
And
the
yeah,
new year.
a
They're
little bit
big
of
on
fault
that.
for you,
It could
Matt.
even be on the
He
first
did have
Raw
a
of the
change
year,
of
even
heart.
though they're
Who?
SmackDown
Gunther.
stars.
He did accept the challenge.
And I
of
think that
Sami Zayn. He
they'll
was not forced
certainly
to have it.
not
But
really
Xavier
abide
Woods,
by the draft
looking
rules when
forward
it
to
comes to the
There's a
first Raw of
chance he
Netflix, which
wins
is a
the
big deal in
Intercontinental
January. That
Championship
also
the
we'll see the
heel
return of John
way.
Cena for the
I-
final year of his career. And there's a lot to talk about. So let's get to the mailbag, and then we'll get to the predictions on the back end of the show. So we'll go through this mailbag as quickly as we can and start with patrons. And I'd encourage you guys, if you haven't gotten to Patreon yet, please check it out, because you get a ad-free experience, but also you get to chat with everybody else during the event in our Discord server that's exclusive to those of you on Patreon. So check it out. There's also a week free trial that we're doing. So Charlie, we'll start with you. Charlie Furman says, what's going on? Here's your Bad Blood predictions. Nia Jax retains the Undisputed Women's Championship against Bayley, only to have Tiffy cash in and become your new Undisputed Women's Champion. You think Liv retains the Women's World title with help from Raquel Rodriguez. Ooh, I like that. Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns beat Solo and Jacob Fatu, and after the match, Roman gets beaten up only to have Jimmy come out to the aid of Roman, and Jimmy starts getting beaten upon, and Jay comes to the aid of Jimmy, and thus begins the program OG versus New Bloodline War Games match at Survivor Series. Damian Priest beats Finn Balor. CM Punk beats Drew in what will not only be the match of the night, but could be one of the best Hell in a Cell matches in a long time. And you also just bought tickets for SmackDown in Milwaukee. I'd love to come on and do. Yeah. So Charlie, let's talk about that. I got to figure out, see what day that is, and maybe we can work something out. I haven't been exactly great on the whole co-host thing lately. It's been tough, but we'll talk about it. And Yankees suck. Well, we'll find out. We'll find out if the Yankees suck. I mean, it's hard to say they suck when they're one of the final four teams in the American League. Definitionally, it's kind of hard to say they suck. I guess it's all perspective, but I will say the Yankees, as many others have said, do have the easiest path to the World Series in about 15 years, because they're facing the Royals. They're a 2-1 favorite, and they should be. And then it's either the Tigers or the Guardians, both of which they have pretty good records against in the regular season. And the Yankees are just a better team. Now, do I think the Yankees are flawed? Yeah, the Yankees are flawed. Their bats tend to go quiet when the postseason hits. Their starting pitching is and has been very shaky, especially against teams that are that are stacked in the lineup. There are not exactly lights out pitching all the time. It's very much a feast or famine when it comes to their starting pitching. So I don't think this is a easy sweep for the Yankees when it comes to the Royals. Do I think they'll beat them? Probably, but I think it'll take all 5 games. And then when they get to the ALCS, I don't know. I mean, we'll see what kind of team they are when they get there. But I just because they have the easiest path doesn't make me ultra confident, because the Yankees have shown throughout the year that they cannot be trusted consistently. That's their MO. I don't trust the team. I don't. Their offense goes night-night in the postseason, and it's just been a trend. So I'm a little bit nervous. So, all right. So thanks, Jeff. Charlie, let's get to Jeff, though. And he says, your predictions for Hell in a Cell, or rather Bad Blood. Drew's winning. CM Punk got the last word on Monday, and usually the person who gets the last word or keeps getting beat down usually gets the win. Gunther wins. Damian wins. Liv wins. Nia wins when Tiffy cashes in. Or then Tiffy cashes in. And Roman and Cody win. And then Kevin and Randy turn and create an amazing heel tag team. Bianca and Jade being the hosts make no sense. Braun and Reed would make an amazing tag team where I could see them as champs. After this PLE, I feel like Judgment Day is going to start feuding with the Wyatt Six. Be a great feud. That's all for today. Let's go Mets. Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, a quick comment on the Mets. I know I'm not turning this into a baseball podcast, but it is postseason time, and a lot of you do tune into postseason baseball. That may be one of the greatest home runs in Mets history last night with Alonso. Helped by the walk, helped by the hit by Nimmo. An amazing ninth inning when it comes to the Mets. And what they have really done lately is it's erasing a lot of bad feeling around the team. Now they have to go to Philly, and they have to deliver. I don't know if they'll beat Philly. I really don't. I don't love the Mets. I don't hate the Mets. I feel neutral about them. I know a lot of Yankee fans just hate the Mets on principle because they're the rival New York team. I never understood that. So I don't love the Mets. I don't hate them. They're okay. But I think that the Mets are flawed, like most teams are, but I think they'll give Philly a run for their money. I could see Philly winning this in 4 or 5. I think this will go the distance, just like the Yankees and Royals will, even though many think that the Yankees are just going to beat the Royals 3 straight. I highly doubt that. But I think the Phillies will probably beat the Mets here in 5. That's my prediction. Do I want the Mets to win? Yeah, I don't like the Phillies. I mean, if I had to choose a team, I want the Mets to win over the Phillies. So, and to think about this too, we are just a couple steps away from having a Subway World Series, a la 2000. Yankees obviously won that in a 4-1 victory in the 7 games, but I think that it's at least fun to think about that both teams are only 2 steps away from going to the World Series and then meeting each other for the first time since 2000 in the World Series. How cool would a Subway Series be? Now, I don't want to even really talk about that until we get to the point where both have moved on to the NLCS and the ALCS. Then we can start to really have some fun and dream. But it's the closest they've been in 24 years. Pretty cool to think about. So, yeah, I'm rooting for the Mets. I mean, I am, to get to the World Series. Because I don't like any of the other teams. I mean, Dodgers are in the other part here with the Padres. That's going to be a hell of a series. I think that's going to go 5. I'd be surprised if any of these combinations of the ALDS and the NLCS, or NLDS, if any of them don't go 4 or 5 games. So many teams are so evenly matched, it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. As far as Bianca and Jade, I don't care about them. I've gotten to the point of I would boo them if I were in the audience. I don't care about them anymore. And maybe that's being a little bit overdramatic. Until they split, and it doesn't even need to be against one another, one of them turns heel. I don't even care if they just quietly split. In fact, I'd probably prefer that for now because it doesn't look like Jade is even close to ready for being able to carry herself as a single star the way that they want her to. I would be for simply having them split. Because this version of them is the worst version of both women. Obnoxious, arrogant, insufferable. It's horrible. I don't like them as a team either anymore. They're extremely formulaic in their approach to the match, and that's nothing against Bianca. This is simply limitations on Jade, and she needs to sink or swim at this point. WWE has sacrificed Bianca at the behest of trying to build a new star, and I appreciate that, and that's what the business is about. But you can only go so far before it's like, all right, we need to bring Bianca back to the forefront here because we have an ultra-generational talent in Bianca Belair. We're sacrificing her for what potentially could be a Jade Hall of Fame induction years and years down the road, which is what they hope. And you know what? I hope too. But this team, this current combination of them is horrific. It's horrible. I can't watch them. Their mannerisms, their little sayings, their kind of mean girl attitude. I hate it. It sounds immature, but I do. It's horrible. So if they're hosts, that's going to be even worse, because that really plays to their worst part of themselves, which is talking on the microphone and being obnoxious. It's all right. Thanks, Jeff. Let's get to Frank. And he says, I got one complaint about Monday's match, the last monster standing. What they should have done is have the altercations start at the beginning of the show, beat the crap out of each other for the first 15 minutes, then go the rest of the show halfway through, go back to it like the red zone in the NFL, and finish up in the main event. I think it would be more enticing to watch instead of how they did it. And also, what the heck are they doing with Braun Breaker? They can't decide if he's a good or bad guy. They need to get on the ball and figure out this crap, because it's ridiculous. Okay, so the whole idea that they don't know what they're doing with Braun, I think they know exactly what they're doing with Braun. I think it's a setup. This isn't a new formula. This isn't something new when it comes to trying to pretend that a heel has seen the light and then they just turn back around and double down. It's only been 1 week, right? So let's see how far they go with Braun as trying to convince the fans that he's actually a good guy now, and he's suddenly come around. Like, I don't think that this is a true face turn for Braun. I think it's trying to bait us and then double down on his violence and his from behind attacks and all of the things that really made Braun Breaker to what he is today, which is a name you recognize, a former Intercontinental Champion, a guy that has made a big impact on the main roster. I don't think that this is they don't know what to do. I think they know what they're doing with Braun right now. So, the idea that you're going to say that they start the altercation at the beginning of the show and then go the rest of the show halfway through, they go back to it like the red zone. The problem with that is for them to, and then this is what I think you're suggesting, is that they would have fought for essentially 3 hours. So they start the show like this. They keep going back to it. That would mean that we're supposed to pretend that they were fighting for 3 hours. That would have been insane. I mean, we have Adam Pearce so quick to yell at everybody and, bring on security and, pull people apart. The idea that we're supposed to believe that it was going on backstage and it wasn't just televised, it's just going on, I don't think would have made a ton of sense, because for something to go on for 3 hours with security unable to restore order would have been insane. But I think that the last monster standing, unfortunately for Braun Strowman, is over. So who the hell knows what he's going to do next? But for Bronson Reed, he's now moving on to Seth Rollins. As I said in my Raw review, that's a promotion. Even though he lost the match, this is a promotion for Bronson Reed, and we don't know what Braun Strowman's going to do. So, all right. Let's continue. We've got a couple more emails from patrons, and let's go to. My email just went blank. Here we go. Let's go to Matt, and he says, "Hope everything is okay with Anthony. When you guys did your weekend review together, that was my favorite episode of the week. I'm hopeful it'll come back. Now to my question: do you think The Rock returns Saturday to start the build for Survivor Series? Also, I really enjoy both of your podcasts. Keep up the good work. Thanks for reading my email. Have a good weekend." Well, thanks, Matt. I hope you enjoy as well. And as far as my show that I did with Anthony, I mean, it's not gone forever. Okay, we'll eventually reunite and probably have something down the line. So no worries there. But I know it was a fun show, but it's not gone forever. Now, as far as The Rock returning Saturday, as I've said, it makes sense. Something big is happening in that match. Whether it's Jimmy returning as we start the puzzle pieces coming back together of the OG bloodline. Maybe we have Paul Heyman join him. Jay won't yet. He's got his own thing going on with the IC title. But I think Jimmy coming back as the first piece makes sense. We could also have the big guy, The Rock, coming back, as Cody Rhodes has maybe inadvertently or purposefully told us that he is. All right, so either The Rock or Jimmy Uso is going to come back. And what happens from there is going to be very interesting, because you could have The Rock come to the aid of Roman and maybe look like he's going to help him and then turn on him. But then that leads to there's a lot of weird things, right? Because Rock and Cody are going to have their match, but you can't get to Rock Roman yet if Cody and Rock hasn't happened. So I don't know. There's so many things. I don't want to hurt my head thinking about it. There were so many times during the build to WrestleMania, as you heard on this show, and I'm sure you experienced it yourself, where it was just too many possibilities, too many different areas, too many ways to thread the needle. And I don't want to hurt my head. I just want to watch, and then we can react. So, all right, cool. DJ Kuzmo, he has his official Bad Blood predictions with some spoilers. Okay, spoiler alert, guys. I don't know what they are, but we'll find out. So, Bayley and Nia Jax for the Women's Championship. You have that it's a long-awaited rematch, and the most fans probably don't even care or totally forgot about this on-again, off-again program of Nia and Bayley. Anyway, I predict the Queen retains, Queen Nia. Damian Priest and Finn Balor. This has to be the match for Finn to get a victory, since in his previous one-on-one matches at the PLEs, guys against Seth, Edge, AJ Styles, Xavier Woods, and even Roman Reigns, at that memorable kind of controversial finish at Extreme Rules in 2021, it has all been losses for Finn Balor. In this story of Priest and Finn, which at times there were a group of much of the attention was on Priest and Rhea, but not Finn. And Finn has been the hard worker, not getting much attention. So you're going to predict that Finn gets the victory over his former partner and former ally over Damian. So you're saying there's more creative that can continue this rivalry and not let it be a side story. So, okay. Finn doesn't get enough attention. You're predicting that Finn gets the victory here because he needs it, and he hasn't got a one-on-one victory in forever. I think that's a fair argument. Liv and Rhea for the Women's World Title. To me, it seems that Bad Blood will be the PLE that the New Judgment Day gets victories for both of these matches, and setting something up for Crown Jewel or Survivor Series with a War Games type match. So you're thinking Liv gets the victory, but that she'll get help from Raquel Rodriguez, since Dirty Dom will be stuck in a shark cage. And I think this could be the spark to rekindle Rhea and Raquel from when they were in NXT. And Raquel was a gullible, boring babyface. Totally agree. Potentially with the roles being reversed, it could be the perfect setup for a matchup at Crown Jewel of Rhea and Raquel, so that Rhea and Liv can take a break from one another. And this could be the initial setup for a Team Rhea versus Team Liv at War Games. Nice. It's hard for me to respond, as I said, because these prediction shows, I'd be burying the lead if I gave you my thoughts. So we're getting there. Roman and Cody versus Solo and Jacob Fatu. So I don't want to call it a slam dunk, but in my opinion, this has to be a Roman and Cody victory to potentially set up their future War Games battle against the Rogue Bloodline. The X factors here are Jacob Fatu possibly teasing a turn on Solo and the possible return of the final boss. But whose side will he align with? I think we know the answer, and this match is probably going to have the usual ref bump. I predict Roman and Cody get the victory. Yeah, this is it's interesting. If The Rock does return, and if he turns on, well, I don't even know if turning on Cody's the really right answer or right way to put it, because he never was with Cody. So if he attacks Cody after or costs Cody the match, but doesn't touch Roman, that's going to be like, well, where does this? How does this tension with Rock and Roman work? Because Roman is actually siding with Cody here, and do they just? I'm guessing if that happens, Roman and Rock just stare at each other, no physicality, and where does Roman's loyalty lie? Because he just aligned himself with Cody to take out the Rogue Bloodline, but now the Rock's taking out his partner. So what happens? I think I like that. The main event: Drew and CM Punk. If this is the main event there, DJ, it may not be. If you're going to have the return of The Rock, you're not going to have this match be the main event. I have said it before, I'll continue to say it. Positioning of matches on the show are often big tells as to what they have planned, or at least the magnitude of what they have planned. Maybe not specifically what it is, but how big it is. Meaning, they could have easily made the Intercontinental title match when we had Jey Uso win it, from Braun Breaker a couple weeks ago. We could have had that be in the middle of the show. But the fact they made it the main event does increase the likelihood that the title was going to change hands. So if, in this case, Cody and Roman main event, then the likelihood of The Rock returning, or at least maybe Jimmy or Paul Heyman returning, are much higher than if it's the semi-main event. You're not going to have The Rock return if it's not the main event. So positioning will really, really, I think, give you a clue. But this match here with the Hell in a Cell, I believe this is where the feud ends, because where else can this feud go? McIntyre's 0-2 in Hell in a Cell matches with losses to Randy and Bobby Lashley. Meanwhile, Punk is 2-1 in Hell in a Cell matches. Will history repeat itself and McIntyre loses again in Hell in a Cell? It's a possibility. And with that being said, I predict that CM Punk gets the victory to end the feud, but is it really over after the PLE? DJ Kuzmo signing off. Enjoy Bad Blood. Have a good weekend. See you all in the Discord chat for Bad Blood and Friday Night SmackDown. Good stuff, DJ. We'll get to that Joe Hendry report in just a few moments. All right. So let's talk to Dino. And he says that Strowman and Reed was really great. I really enjoyed it, but I did not expect to see Seth return, so that was a nice surprise. As genuine surprise returns aren't really a thing anymore. I'd agree. Really difficult to do. It's really hard to do these days. I don't envy creative for trying to make surprises genuine anymore. It's really hard with today's culture and environment and technology. Really hard. Has anyone else noticed that the 10 to 15 second clip they show during Raw every week with the letters PRC or PFC or something engraved on like a rock? I'm wondering what the hell this or what it means. I don't know. I don't have a clue. I'll leave that for others to dwell on. Another thing from Raw was the Wide 6 video package. Did I see Alexa Bliss at the end, or was that something else or someone else? It kind of looked like Alexa. Well, rumor has it Alexa is coming back in 2025, perhaps as a Royal Rumble entrant. I don't know does anyone really miss Alexa Bliss? I think she was underutilized, but it's not like people are like, oh my God, I can't wait till she returns. She seems to be fitting into motherhood very well. Of course, this is her decision, not mine, but I'm not sitting here going, oh my God, the women's division needs Alexa Bliss. And I have to say, if they're just going to stick her back in a kind of a dark role, but not wrestling, we've been there, done that with The Fiend. It was intriguing for a few months, and then it's like, is she ever going to wrestle? Or is she going to sit on this swing backstage and spew dark nursery rhymes, which is what she did forever. So, and plus we already have a dark female figure in Nikki Cross. So do we need another? Maybe. There is a history with Alexa and Nikki. A long history. So they could fit her in, but feels like that role's already filled. I heard you advertising about needing a host for the After Dark. I'm not applying, but just wondering what happened to Anthony. Hope he's okay. No, he didn't die. He didn't die. No. We're just, right now, my schedule, I'm fully to blame, is insane. And his schedule as well has changed, and it's difficult to have us link up. And it's also difficult for him to be able to record shows. He's doing a lot of other stuff. There's nothing bad there. It's just, no, he's not dead, but he'll be back. All right. Don't worry. By the way, just so you know, Gunther and Sammy is on this week's coming Raw, probably the main event. Interestingly, this is not a match on the Bad Blood card. It's just that the way you were speaking on the Raw review, I felt like you thought it was on the PLE. It's not. Yeah, good. Thank you. I need that help. Yes. The Rock returning at Bad Blood would be absolutely insane. It would justify a Cody Rhodes and Roman versus the Bloodline 2.0 closing the show, because I thought the whole idea for Survivor Series was Team Roman versus Team Rock and Bloodline versus Bloodline. And your end of bullet points. Okay, so this is quick predictions. Nia Jax wins. Damian Priest wins. Rhea Ripley becomes a new champion. McIntyre beats Punk. And Cody and Roman win. I don't usually do this, but since it's literally Bad Blood, I feel like it's the perfect moment for a return. So here's what I give the chances of potential returns. Your percentages here, I'm curious as to how you calculated these. I'm sure there's some mathematical equation, right? But The Rock, 40%. Charlotte Flair, 45%. Alexa Bliss, 45%. That's all for this week. All right. Thanks, Dino. All right. that does it for the mailbag this week. And I do see a couple of you emailed me about After Dark. We will chat. I do have the After Dark position open, and we'll be chatting if you email me about filling the After Dark spot. All right. So let's now get to a voicemail or two, and then we'll jump into my predictions for the Bad Blood event.
Hello, WWE Podcast World. This is DJ Kuzmo back at it again on your Mailbag show. Record to you live on a Wednesday morning, and you know what time it is. It's time to
say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry. I believe in Joe Hendry.
That's right, folks. Joe Hendry is his name as I take it to my 12th episode of the Joe Hendry Report. But before I take it to what took place this past Sunday night live from the NYC Arena as I got to see Joe Hendry for the first time, I must take you to this past Thursday on the episode of TNA Pro Wrestling as we had Joe Hendry versus Frankie Kazarian. The winner of this match would be the number one contender to face Nick Nemeth for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship at Bound for Glory on October 26th. In a matchup that went 12 minutes and 38 seconds, it looked like Frankie Kazarian was going to get the victory as he hit Joe Hendry with those brass knucks right behind the referee's back. But here comes Santino Marella. He comes in and says, because you broke the rules, Frankie Kazarian, we're going to have to restart the match. And the match was restarted. At this time, Joe Hendry got the victory with the standing ovation. And 1, 2, 3... none other than Joe Hendry will now face Nick Nemeth for the championship, for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship on October 26th, Bound for Glory. It should be a good match. I understand it's babyface versus babyface, but hey, I want to see Joe Hendry win a championship, and why not the TNA World Heavyweight Championship? He was pursuing the NXT Championship. Now he's shifting his focus back to TNA. Let's see what happens on October 26th. I gotta say, hopefully, Joe Hendry gets the victory and the championship to become the new TNA World Heavyweight Champion. Now let's get to this past Sunday, September 29th, Believe in the Glory. My first time seeing Joe Hendry live. But I have to get to all the drama that came with that. On Thursday, last week Thursday, he posted a video that he wasn't going to be able to make it because of the hurricane and the travel issues of trying to get to New York City in time. So I was like, wait a minute. I bought my ticket a couple of weeks in advance, and now Joe Hendry's not going to show up. I was sad. I was depressed. I was like, man, should I even still go to the show? But anyway, on Saturday, usually on Saturdays, I don't be on social media. House of Glory reached out to me personally. They sent me a DM on my Instagram and said, hey, because you interact with us so much, I want to give you information about Joe Hendry. So they gave me the update. And one of the updates is that Joe Hendry will make it. He will make it this time for this Sunday, September 29th at the NYC Arena. So I was excited, totally excited, because now my thought process was like, okay, at first I thought Joe Hendry was not going to make it. Now he's going to make it. So here comes Sunday, September 29th. Now, with that hurdle pass, now that Joe Hendry is going to be on the show, how was I going to be able to make it to the NYC Arena? And here's the drama, folks. It was a rainy Sunday. MTA only has, in my South Brooklyn neighborhood, the MTA only has one train that could take me there, and lo and behold, that train was shut down for the weekend. So I had to figure out, was I gonna make it to the NYC Arena in time to see Joe Hendry Believe in the Glory? So I had to look at the map. I had to figure out on Google if I have to take a bus, if I have to take another train. And then as I put the pieces together on a rainy Sunday afternoon, I had to take 2 buses and the J train. So shout out to all my New Yorkers that goes through the issues of have to deal with the MTA, especially on the weekends when some of their favorite subway lines are shut down. So after taking 2 buses and a train, I got to Believe in the Glory around like 6:35. Joe Hendry posted that he was going to do a meet and greet at 4 p.m. I missed that opportunity, so that's why I didn't get an autograph and I didn't get a picture with Joe Hendry. But anyway, as I fast forward throughout the show, it was a good show, by the way. First time going to a House of Glory wrestling show, and it was tremendous. It felt like an intimate setting as you walk into the arena. It's right there. The ring is right in the middle, and there's a big crowd of people. But let's get to the actual match, as we had Joe Hendry versus Joey Janela for the first time, a dream match of sorts, as Joe Hendry defeated Joey Janela with the standing ovation chokeslam, as everybody was screaming to the top of their lungs, especially yours truly, as we sang, "I believe in Joe Hendry." It was a great moment, a memorable moment after all the trials and tribulations of me trying to get to this event. And then, of course, Joe Hendry not appearing because of the weather, and then he now makes the announcement that he's going to be there. It all came back in full circle for me. So regardless of what happens in life, you always have to believe. You always have to stay committed, and like always, remember the words that Joe Hendry says: anytime, any place, at any show. I know this is a long-winded episode, but I just wanted to get this out because, you know, this was my personal experience of me meeting Joe Hendry for the first time. I may have not gotten a picture, I may have not gotten an autograph, but I was in the same arena with Joe Hendry. Now, with that being said, always believe, always say his name. Remember the words that he always says: anytime, any place, at any show. And always remember to do this.
Wave your hands from side to side and say, oh, I believe in Joe Hendry. Joe Hendry is so prestigious.
Once again, this is your guy, DJ Kuzmo. Have a blessed week. Be kind to one another. Stay safe, my friends. Believe and peace.
DJ, I'm so glad you were able to finally get there. And sorry, things didn't work out with getting a picture with Joe Hendry and a signature because of the weather. That does suck. I mean, it does. But you know what? You live in a city that's, a couple people know about it. It's a city that is just does have a little bit of name recognition, a little bit of history. So I know that he'll be back around. So that's the benefit of living in New York City. Maybe crazy, traffic's insane, but you know what? WWE makes their rounds through there pretty often. So don't worry about it. And I'm glad you had fun at the House of Glory. Never been. But the intimate settings, no matter what you're doing, especially for wrestling though, but any form of entertainment, the setting can make all the difference. I can equate it to Fenway Park. I've been there once. And compared to Yankee Stadium, it does kind of have a better vibe. Fenway Park, while in my DNA, I despise the Red Sox, their venue of Fenway Park is such a more intimate setting. It feels like you're sitting on the field. It feels like you're a part of the game. It's like you're right there helping them. And it does help kind of raise the emotion of what's going on. And when it feels like you're a part of the show and you're right there and it's in your face, you're not, 1,600 rows back. It's kind of a cool environment. So thank you, DJ, for all the analysis, continuing to keep us updated on Joe Hendry, and I hope you enjoy Bad Blood. Let's keep it rolling. A couple more, and we'll get to the predictions.
Hey, WWE Podcast world. This is Jason from Oregon, just sitting here in beautiful Eugene, Oregon, 72 degrees out, and just wanted to talk about the Monday Night Raw up in Portland, Oregon. I know it was a few weeks ago. Sorry I didn't call right in, but the one just thing I wanted to talk about was Bianca Belair and just the size of these WWE wrestlers that you might not really fully appreciate on TV, that when you get to see them live. I was so impressed with Bianca. She is so tall and muscular, and the moves that she is able to do, the athleticism. I know, Matt, you've talked about her athleticism on this podcast before, but I just don't think you really appreciate what she can do, the way she can move her body and flips and, all that stuff with how big she is. And I think, one of the things we have concerns with Jade is she's just not, especially when she's standing next there to Bianca, that, just as tall, just as big, but not as athletic. And just, that's what you can kind of sense when you're there in person seeing a show live, is just how amazing Bianca is. So I just wanted to bring that up, and thanks for the podcast. Catch you guys next time.
Hi, Jason. Hope you're doing well, and thanks for rubbing the weather in my face. I appreciate that as things continue to get colder and colder here in New York. But that's something that I think WWE needs to be a little bit mindful of. While they are putting these two together, and they, putting them together makes sense from the perspective of two big, strong, athletic women, muscular women together, and it's helping Jade grow, and I think it has to some degree. It does. It also helps the women's tag team division elevate themselves, elevate the women's tag team titles. But you're right about the live events. You can't ever really appreciate how good some of these men and women are until you see them. And it's true. I agree. I mean, but I can recognize athleticism like you can when you see it and appreciate it for what it is. I don't know how much more complimentary I could be to Bianca, other than saying every single week that she is one of the best, if not the best pure athlete WWE has, man or woman, especially in the women's division. I think she is the top of the food chain when it comes to a combination of power and athleticism and look. She's just the full polished package. And the downside for this of being with Jade, if they continue to put her with Jade, is that she's going to be continually exposed. While they are hiding her weaknesses by having Bianca do the heavy lifting in tag team matches, and then Jade does cleanup and gets the hot tag in victory, which has been the formula for every tag match they've had nearly. The problem is that you now are going to compare, your mind will compare the ability of Bianca to the ability of Jade. And while Jade may have even I think a more muscular frame and more powerful frame and even a better look for the camera than Bianca, which is saying something. I mean, Bianca is, like I said, a full polished performer, but Jade is like, a freak of nature, and she's at an even higher level. So sure, she may have a quote better look if that's the look you're looking for, but that fades quickly when the bell rings. When the bell rings, fans care about what's happening in the ring. They don't go, oh my God, look at the muscles. Look at that. Wow. Look at her outfit. Isn't that cool? No, fans care about the match. Fans care about who's going to win and why. And why do you care who's going to win? Emotional investment. And how do you get emotional investment? Deep characters. And they have done almost no character development with Jade. Almost none. We know she can look good for a camera. We know that she apparently smells good. She told us so. Really important things here. Very, very, very key things to your success as a star to let the fans know how good you smell. I'm being extremely sarcastic, but the superficial crap needs to stop with Jade. They need to let her sink or swim. You can't keep somebody like Bianca Belair suppressed forever here. And I don't know how much more they're willing to sacrifice at the altar of Bianca or of Jade Cargill. They need to let her go and see what happens. And I hope it happens sooner than later. Because Bianca is being, and she has been for a long time now, even prior to the alignment with Jade, she has been kind of in a background role. And she needs to come back to the forefront and remind people how good she is. Now, can her entrance improve? Yes. Do I hate her entrance? Yeah, kind of. Her music is okay, but her skipping to the ring and acting like she's 12 years old on the school ground and twirling her hair at, she's 35 years old. Come on. That's a little much. But outside of that, when the bell rings, there's nobody better in the ring in the women's division. She's incredible. But like you said, going to a live event, you can appreciate it even more. Thanks, Jason. Well, let's get to our final voicemail.
Ask the French guy here, current European champion. Not been defending it for something about 2 years. Monday Night Raw, I just watched. How is it possible? Of course, that's ironical, but Raw is being better than SmackDown, in my opinion, even if SmackDown has a lot more of star power. You have Randy Orton there, Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns. In Raw, you have CM Punk, of course, Drew McIntyre, now Seth Rollins. So, yeah, maybe, but I think SmackDown has more star power, but Raw is the better show right now. I just watched Raw. I love what they're doing with Xavier Woods and with Karrion Kross at the same time. If you noticed, I think you did, you can see during the Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston segments, they are discussing the Intercontinental opportunity for Xavier Woods. And on the back, you can see someone watching them discuss. This is Karrion Kross again, turning Xavier Woods turning The Miz, that's great. I want Karrion Kross to have a proper storyline. I want Xavier Woods to turn heel as well. The Miz is not relevant, to be honest. But Karrion Kross, I'm waiting on this. You have so much going on Raw right now. Drew McIntyre against CM Punk. I think that's the A show right now. That proves that titles, you just need like good storylines, not complicated ones. And yeah, a little bit of fault for you, Matt. He did have a change of heart. Who? Gunther. He did accept the challenge of Sami Zayn. He was not forced to have it. But Xavier Woods, looking forward to it. There's a chance he wins the Intercontinental Championship the heel way. Bye, guys.
Alex, thanks, buddy. The Xavier Woods story is becoming more and more fascinating because it's something I've been waiting for 10 years. I mean, nearly since they got together, I wanted them to break up because, I mean, my despise, or my, what is it called? My hatred, my, whatever the case may be. My dislike of the New Day has been well documented for many, many years, but Xavier Woods here getting the spotlight, turning heel, hasn't happened fully yet, but boy, we are on the way. Maybe he'll align with Karrion Kross in the end in their 10-year anniversary of the New Day. And like I said, I think Big E will show up and the big turn will happen at that event. And it should. I don't care if it's predictable. It's the right thing to do. And seeing Xavier for the first time in 10 years on his own, what he can do, I think he's going to be just fine. He can cut promos. We've seen him in the ring. He's much better in the ring than people give him credit for because everything has been about bootios and all the nonsensical sophomore crap that he's done for a decade. So I'm really looking forward to what they do. I'm really looking forward to what they do with Xavier. If they're truly going that road, I think they are. And Gunther being forced, or not being forced. I mean, either way, we knew the match was happening. He was pushed over the edge by Sammy, and he gives Sammy the title shot. And we have, Xavier here just on the cusp of being able to go into a singles career. But as far as Raw goes, being the better show, I think it has been too. But that always oscillates back and forth. We hear it all the time, right? It may go a few months where, oh my God, SmackDown's so much better than Raw. Oh my God, Raw is so much better than SmackDown. It happens. It happens. It's the nature of these two shows. No one show for too long is a better show than Raw. Now, I would preface that with a little asterisk saying the Bloodline story in its original form with Sami Zayn and turning on Roman Reigns and all that, however many months it built, that was a lot of fun. SmackDown for the longest time was a better show than Raw. Roman leaves Raw, SmackDown, he loses the belt to Cody, and it's been kind of switched the other way. And that's the natural progression of things, though. I'm not too concerned about either show, honestly, and it'll switch back again because when the reset button is hit and this program with Drew and Punk ends, and it will tomorrow night, hopefully, then what, right? Then how intriguing is Raw? With that rivalry put on the back burner in the vault, then what? What's next for Drew? What's next for Punk? How good is Raw? Again, as storylines evolve and storylines end and begin and restart and stop, you're going to have each show be better than the other in many fans' eyes over the course of time. It's the normal cycle of these shows. But so, all right. Thanks to everybody calling and emailing. Let's get to my official predictions for Hell in a Cell as I pull up the official card here, because sometimes things change. Not Hell in a Cell. Bad Blood. I keep calling it Hell in a Cell. Bad Blood. I'm pulling up the official card, making sure I don't miss anything or last minute changes or additions. Now, things could change tonight on SmackDown. I don't think they will. But let's get to the official preview show now. 5 matches. It's about right for the Triple H era. I like it. Fewer matches. More time to tell a story. Easier to digest. I have really appreciated this change from Triple H. So let's get to it. I'm going to go right down the line here from what I see and this is actually from Wikipedia. All right. Wikipedia does keep things pretty up to date. So let's get to it. CM Punk and Drew McIntyre, Hell in a Cell. Easily the best story of Raw over the last 6 months. Been a hell of a job from both Punk and Drew. The violence has been top notch, but the promos have really what's carried this thing, because violence can come and go. Anybody can be violent. Anybody can, punch and kick and throw chairs and all that. That's easy. But what's difficult is being able to bring the story together with your words. Not easy. That may be more difficult than any part of pro wrestling. And being a professional wrestler is the microphone. So both men have been stellar. Both men have created a great story. Creating Punk, have Punk saying to Drew that you have now made me the boogeyman that many people thought I was, and this is now the version of me that you're going to have to deal with. It's been brilliant. This should be violent. Yes, both men should be bloody. I can't wait for that. Finally seeing blood, my bloodthirsty, neurotic self. I'm looking forward to it. You could probably psychoanalyze that, but this is going to be a lot of fun. I expect this match to be 20, 25 minutes, big bumps. Hopefully Punk doesn't get injured in this match. I mean, honestly, that's kind of a secondary story here, that Punk doesn't get injured, and hopefully he doesn't. I honestly expect Punk to probably win this, but this is a toss-up for me. This is really like a pick-em, because Drew winning this makes sense if somebody screws Punk, or he could just outright beat Punk. But Punk, it all depends on where they're going to go next with both of these men, because does Punk go right to Seth Rollins? Well, he can't. Bronson Reed and Seth have got their little thing going on, and Punk and Seth are probably slated for WrestleMania 41, so you don't want to start that yet. You got enough time to build that. You got 6+ months. So where does it go? I mean, you got the world champion Gunther. Does Punk go after Gunther? Does Drew go after Gunther? You know, what happens there? As I'm talking about it, Punk did say, prior to getting involved for a third time with Drew, say that he was going after the world title and going after Gunther, and I think that's what he'll revisit. So I see CM Punk winning this match, and Drew McIntyre maybe just disappearing from the show, from Raw, for a couple of weeks to reset himself, and then get into his next program. So Punk and Drew, I think Punk comes out the victor in a very violent, fun match with maybe handcuffs, blading, chair shots to the back. Probably no chair shots to the head, even though I'd love to see it. Yes, I have issues. No, I wish they could do chair shots to the head that were safe. I know that's an oxymoron. It's like saying, I want to be in a car accident that's safe. Well, there's no such thing, right? Unless they have worked chairs that are made out of like aluminum foil, I would not want that to happen, but I wish they could do chair shots to the head that were safe, if that were possible. All right, Nia Jax and Bayley. This match, yeah, I mean, they have been hot and cold with it, so I feel very hot and cold about this. Doesn't excite me particularly. Nia Jax's run as queen has been okay. Bayley has also been okay. I think that you're going to have a very slow-paced match, as many Nia Jax matches are, and that's fine with me. I don't need every match 100 miles an hour. And I expect Bayley to lose. I think Nia Jax will win. I think Tiffany Stratton will try to cash in or pretend she's going to cash in, and ultimately I don't think she will. I still think she's going to hold on to it. I know many people are thinking she's going to. I don't think she will here. I think Tiffy will look like she's going to try to, and then pull back and tell Nia she was just joking, and we'll move on. I think Nia Jax does retain, and there's a very strong chance here too. I keep saying this and I keep getting burned like a jerk, is that Charlotte Flair returns. So after Nia Jax beats Bayley, I think we have Charlotte Flair, who could come out and confront Nia Jax instead of having the big moment be Tiffy cash in. We need more time with Nia as champion. I don't want Tiffany Stratton winning right now. I think there's time for that. We have time. There's more things to build for Tiffany Stratton from a character perspective than having her just cash in and win. I don't need shock value victory here. I need established champion of Nia Jax, continuing to build who and what she is, and having Charlotte Flair come out here would be a bigger moment for me than having Tiffany Stratton cash in. That'll happen. There's a lot of time with that briefcase, so I think Charlotte Flair returns at the end of this. Damian Priest and Finn Balor. A match that I don't think has gotten the attention that it deserves. One that we're like, oh yeah, that's right. Finn screwed Damian Priest out of the world title. I don't think they've driven that point home enough. They've mentioned it, and it's not that it's been forgotten, but it's a big deal, and it should be really emphasized and built around that they were brothers, and Finn completely screwed him, screwed over his livelihood, took away his dream, and they've touched on it, but they really haven't dug into it and landed on that as the biggest, the biggest selling point. But that said, this match is going to be fine. These two deserve this matchup, this one-on-one match of Bad Blood. It lives up to the moniker of being a Bad Blood match. right? These two have bad blood. So this is going to be fun. Do I think Finn Balor is going to win? You know what? I hope so. As much as I want to see Damian Priest destroy Finn, and I've gotten behind the Damian Priest character, and his babyface turn has been successful, I think Finn, as some of our emailers have said, needs the victory. He needs the victory. He needs this one-on-one victory. It's been a long time since Finn has gotten a singles match, much less a big singles victory on a big stage. So Finn needs this. Damian Priest doesn't. He's coming off of a multi-month world title reign, and I think that right now it's Finn Balor who needs this more than Damian. So how does he win? Maybe Dominic helps him. Maybe it's some kind of maybe he beats him straight out, but I think Finn needs it. Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley. Dominic Mysterio is going to be above the shark cage. Yes, this could be very much a return for Raquel Rodriguez. And like many of you have said, if she returns, for the love of God, make her heel. We don't need, and I apologize, guys, if you hear kids in the background, I've got a whole bunch of kids in my house today, so I'm trying to talk over them. But we have Dominic who's going to somehow interfere. He'll drop something down from the cage. Maybe it'll be brass knucks or something like that. I think you're going to have a fun match that Rhea has in the bag, riptide, and wham, here comes Raquel Rodriguez out to screw over Rhea Ripley. Liv Morgan retains. Rhea then goes on to face Raquel Rodriguez, be the dominant, woman that she is. I think she can match up very nicely with Rhea, and we don't need Raquel as a babyface. It was not a successful run with her. She never felt authentic. She was kind of obnoxious, and I think she fits much more into the heel role. So that's what I think is going to happen. Liv Morgan retains, and Rhea Ripley doesn't need the championship right now. So, all right. Main event, which I think this will be in the main event. Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns versus the bloodline of Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu. Of course, Tama Tonga and Tangaloa are going to be in the outside. They'll interfere. They'll get their ass kicked. They'll be taken out maybe by Randy and Kevin Owens. Maybe they'll do their typical run-in to even the odds deal. That way it's just really 2-on-2. Or they could be kicked out by the ref. We'll see. But this is going to be fun. I think there'll be some tension between Cody and Roman. There'll be moments where you think maybe, oh God, Roman's gonna lose it on Cody, and maybe they'll tease a Roman Reigns turn or a Cody Rhodes turn on Roman. It won't happen. These two, there's no need for either right now to turn on the other. They've been there, done that. That's not the story. It would make no sense. They will find a way here to win in a match that's probably going to be 20 plus minutes as well. Match that deserves 20 plus minutes with the way these men work, with the level of talent in the ring. It's going to be a lot of fun. And we'll see who takes the pinfall here. I think Solo Sikoa could be the one to take the pinfall, believe it or not, where Jacob Fatu is the one they've really actually been protecting. They've actually been protecting Jacob Fatu more than they've been protecting Solo Sikoa. Jacob Fatu, has he lost a match? Has he even taken a finish? I mean, so I think right now Solo Sikoa can afford to lose this match. Maybe Cody Rhodes is the one to beat Solo, and we have Jacob Fatu, and then the rest of the gang come back out, start to beat on Cody and Roman, and that's when either Jimmy, with Paul Heyman in tow, or The Rock comes back, and The Rock ends up maybe attacking Cody Rhodes, and that's when it's what does Roman do? Where do his loyalties lie, right? This is The Rock, but he's attacking Cody. He's helping the bloodline that I just fought. What do I do? And that's where there'll be no physical exchange, I don't think, between Roman and The Rock if The Rock comes back. But if Jimmy comes back, then then you're starting to see the puzzle pieces come together for a OG Bloodline versus Rogue Bloodline match at Survivor Series that we've been literally talking about for 6 months. So I think that's what happens. This is going to be exciting. It's going to, again, if this match closes the show, and I think it will, expect a return of either The Rock or Jimmy Uso. And I think that's where we're going to land. And this is going to be a really fun event. This is going to be a lot of fun where it's going to have a lot of people talking at the end of it tomorrow night. So go VIP with us, guys. We have a VIP website, right? www.podcast.com. You can join us there, go ad-free, or you can join us on Apple Podcasts, go ad-free there, or you can go to, of course, our best place to go, which is Patreon at patreon.com/WWE podcast, because you can go for a week free trial there. You can check us out for free, which means you get the pre-show, post-show, everything for the next week regarding Bloodline or Bad Blood, right, available to you. And you can get a free Discord chat server link, so you can chat and talk to everybody else who's a patron of the show, and more importantly, just pro wrestling fans. And it's a lot of fun. All right, guys, enjoy Bad Blood. I'll be trying to comment throughout the show. It's difficult tomorrow. So tomorrow it's a 6 o'clock Eastern start time, which means it's kind of in my kids' bedtime, which is impossible to watch at the same time that I'm watching my kids. So I may be a little bit late in my reviews. In other words, you may be watching the main event and I'm on match 2 commenting on, Damian Priest and Finn Balor. It may be one of those things. If you want to see my tweets live on X, check me out. Wrestling_audio is my tag, or just search the WWE podcast. I'm the one that's verified. You can check me out there as my thoughts live. All right. Thanks, everybody. I'll talk to you next time. Enjoy Bad Blood. Take care.
Thanks for listening to the WWE podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss a show, or head to WWEpodcast.com. And for all of these shows ad-free, head over to patreon.com/WWE podcast. Until then, we'll see you next time.